So, hello. Long time no see. It's been a while since I've last uploaded, but I thought I'd upload a little summit just to A, say I'm still alive, surprisingly, and B, I've just thought I'd show you a little project that I'm working on at the minute, involving some, I'd say, arguably now, retro CCTV equipment. So, first things first, I'll show you is this. So it's Pelco KBD300A. You have to excuse the traffic outside. I'm in a new build and they're still building off the estate, so they're coming past every 2 seconds. But yeah, so it's KBD300A. It's an old Pelco CM6700 multiplexer era keyboard. And it just is powered and data fed over a Cat5. It plugs into the back. So that's plugged in there. It goes round here, all the way round, into there, and then just breaks off there. So in the case of a T568B colour code cable, and this particular KBD300A, the stripe blue and green are your power cores, so it's 12 volt AC or DC. I'm running it on 12 volt DC, that's just a power supply from a Hikvision keyboard. It's working fine for this. And then the browns is your telemetry, so TX positive and negative, and then that just goes to the RX positive and negative of Pelco PTZ. Now, obviously, Pelco PTZ, naturally that means I've got a Pelco PTZ, presumably, otherwise there'd be no point me having this. So that's sort of the really interesting part. So you see here there's video there, that's the video feed from it. It's a Spectra-like sort of OSD, but it's not a Spectra, it's a Pelco Espri SE. So it's, I believe, the same camera block as the Spectra 4 SE, but it's obviously in the Esprit sort of form factor, which is pretty cool. So it's got all this sort of, for the day at least, advanced analytics. So it's got your auto tracking, motion detection. Motion detection just puts boxes on the screen. You can't send any sort of alarm telemetry back to a head-end system. Pelco doesn't support that. And then the auto tracking, I've never got it working. I can't figure out how to get it working. If anybody has ever got it working, let me know down in the description how. I set the presets up, set up motion detection at the presets, and enabled auto tracking, and it just, the motion detection was working, but it just never seemed to want to follow anything. So I don't know, I could be doing something grossly wrong, but I don't know. But yeah, there's the video feed from it. So obviously you can see I can pan it left to right. Now, credit to Queb. So there's a YouTube uploader called Queb. He has a video, he's a Canadian bloke, he has a video from years ago of one of the first gen sort of Esprits with the longer housing and the image pack sort of system where it's got the camera block and a zoom lens in it. He does a video on how to do this, basically this exact setup. So it's Pelco to KBD300A in direct mode to an Esprit, and all you do is you take that hatch off there. So I've just got a 10p coin I just used to turn it up, and it is very, very stiff, but it does come off. And then you just set all switches off, and that addresses it. Pelco D, baud rate 2400, address of 1, and then the keyboard can talk to it. I think the keyboard can do up to 32 channels, I think. So obviously any other, say Esprit, Spectras, whatever you have on the R-Street 5 boss, you just obviously address sequentially up, and then you can control them via direct mode. But as I say, I've just got to sort of set up here quickly. I'm just testing the rig. I'm probably going to do something with it at some point. I'd like to try and get this up because it is pretty cool. I've got a Pelco encoder in the cupboard that I'm going to use with it. It's a Endura encoder. Well, not Endura. I don't know, I think it's Endura. I think that's what they call them. It's a Net 5504, so it's quite old. It's H.264, but yeah, that would be pretty cool to work with it. It supports extended coaxtron, so I can use something like Blue Iris or a Vigilon Unity or something like that, just to control it over IP, and then have the telemetry, the hardwired telemetry, and perhaps the spot monitor to control it via analog. So I'll show you sort of things it does. So obviously you've got pan, So it's quite self-explanatory. There is a turbo option on this. I think it's switch 6 is on, and it enables a turbo function. So if you hold a joystick after you get past a certain point where it would obviously normally hit the full manual speed, it goes into turbo. I just find it flies around like a bat out of hell and it's hard to control, but I guess there's probably use cases for it. But I've got it switched off. So obviously you've got pan, so I can obviously pan it round. Here you've got pan, you've got tilt, so obviously you can tilt up and down. I don't want to tilt too far down because it's not secured to anything, so it'll just throw itself over. Ask me how I know that. And then zoom. Now a couple of cool things you can do with the KBD300A. So obviously if I point this over at something, I don't know, there we go. So you see there, that's the monitor. So you've got to excuse the image quality, it's an old analog camera, the lens is filthy, I've got to give it a clean. But yeah, so obviously if I zoom in, so it's got quite a quick zoom. What you can do is obviously, say I give us something as a point of reference, that hook there. So yeah, it's quite quick. But if, say I want to zoom a bit slower, I can click a number from 1 to 4 on the 300A, so 1 for instance, and then zoom again, it zooms slower, which is pretty cool. And then say 4 again, which is what I had it on before, and it's quite punchy. I just think that's pretty cool. Obviously you can't really do that with any other keyboards, especially, you know, I haven't found a keyboard that's not Pelco that you can't do that with. That's pretty cool. And obviously you've got presets, so I can call a preset, for instance, let's spin it around here. Yeah, so I can go preset 1. And it's pretty quick, it's quite respectable. Preset 2 I think I've got set on it as well. 2. Yeah, it's just slightly off to the side, and then I've got a pattern on it as well. So I did have a little play with the pattern. So it does a sort of little swing around. And by the way, this thing is pretty loud. He's certainly not subtle. Yeah, it just sort of does a little pan around the room, and yeah, it's nothing fancy, but yeah, it's quite nice. It's a really nice little PTZ, and you know what? And the image quality to say it's analog. Oh, look at me. Look. That's pretty good. Anyway, yeah. If you want to see any more videos on this, let me know. I do keep an eye on the comments. Obviously, certainly, if I do end up fitting it, I'll do a video kind of showing that within reason. It will be part of inevitable home C2E system. I've just moved house, but yeah. Yeah, if you want to see anything else, sort of anything in particular, just let me know, and as and when I can, I'll get it spun up and show you bits and bobs if you want to see them. In the meantime, obviously, if you want to check out anything else Pelco, I recommend, I think it's Sonkarshay. Again, these are quite old channels, but Sonkarshay, I think he is. An Australian fella. He's done a lot on Pelco and Digital Century, I think it is, whatever it is. And then yeah, Queb, I think his channel name is now. This Canadian bloke, he's got a Pelco C2E system, an analog home C2E system that, to be honest, is sick. It's pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, goodbye.